What's up, Punters Pod listeners? You can listen to us every Monday and Thursday on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or even watch us on YouTube. Now, let's get into the podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of the Punters Pod.
What time of the year is it? It is preliminary final week. 4 teams left. The Pies, the Blues, the Giants, the Lions. What a time to be alive, Jeremy.
What a fucking time. Insane. Only 3 more games left for the rest of the year.
It's a bit emotional because we obviously want the footy to stay on, but we'll miss it. But it's what everyone waits for all year to find out who's going to be in the grand final. And this week we find out.
Like you said, waited all year for this. The time has finally come, ready for the finals. Before we get into all our chat, let me tell you something. And you know what absolutely fucking infuriates me?
Tell me what pisses you off.
Now, this can relate to any sport in the world, yeah? Any sport at all. And it happens in every single sport where you play the whole home and away season and everything's all good. You know who supports who, you know, everyone, blah, blah, blah. All your mates, you just talk about the footy, basketball, soccer, whatever it is.
Of course.
And then you get to finals time.
Best time of the
year. That's when you get a bit of bandwagon supporters start to come through, yeah?
Every bandwagoners, every team, whoever's hot, the people jump on.
Now, last year, you would have had a lot of Collingwood people come out of the woodworks who you didn't know supported them for a while. And this year, obviously, with the Carlton fans. But every single year, you get people come out on the biggest stage and profess their love for whatever team they go for or whatever. But you get a certain demographic of people, and I actually want to zero in on one certain demographic of people, which is girls between the age of 18 and 22 years old, who you wouldn't even know that they support a team, let alone follow football at all.
You wouldn't have a clue.
Wouldn't have a clue. And I don't know, I think a lot of people will agree with me here, that it absolutely pisses me off how you get, and it's the same post for every single one of them. It's the Instagram story or the Snapchat story of their TV with a little go, whatever the team is. They might chuck a little gif in the corner of their favourite player or whatever, if they even know a player.
It happens every year.
Every single year.
And you know what? It'll never stop. And you're right, exactly right. You wouldn't even know these people watch the footy or have seen the footy, but for some reason, the bandwagons get full and everyone wants to be supporting who's hot at the moment.
Yeah, tag a mate who does this and let them know they're fucking annoying, because it doesn't even have to be that, but that's like the target demographic for it. The 18 to 22-year-old girls who just like make it their whole personality for that couple of weeks, and then you'll never hear them talk about footy again.
Exactly.
It's like their dad or their uncle or brother supports the team, and they're watching one day and they walk into the living room and say, oh, I'm meant to go for this team as well.
Yeah, we won. Fuck
yeah, chuck boys on the story.
I'll tell you what's the worst. The worst is when they say, did we win? There's no way about it when you don't know who won the game.
And if you're asking, did we win, you're clearly not a proper fan.
Exactly.
Not a proper fan
and
at
you
all.
know what? It pisses me off too. I'm not going to lie. It does grind my gears a bit, but it sounds like you're trying to gatekeep fandom there.
No, not at all, but come on.
Be with it all, yeah, or don't be with it
maybe, at all. Maybe I'm the nuffy here, and maybe everyone will disagree with me, but I find it so annoying.
No, you're right. Be with it all, yeah, or don't be with it at all when it comes to grand final preliminary week.
Yeah, 100%. Couple massive games this week.
2 of them.
2 massive games this week. Obviously, on the Friday night, we got the Collingwood versus GWS. And the Saturday night, we have the Lions versus the Blues.
Both these games, it is very clear that it's the teams who are on the fairy tale dream runs riding that wave in Carlton and GWS versus the probably 2 strongest teams all year, the most consistent teams all year. But both Collingwood and Brisbane will be scared that the fairy tales of Carlton and GWS continue. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, very interesting to see what happens.
It's kind of crazy. We'll get into it a bit later on, but I kind of feel like, and we said this last week with the team that wins out in the first final, the team that loses in the first final that has the double chance is always underrated. And clearly this time, it worked out how it's meant to be, because both the teams that won ended up progressing and winning again in the semi-final.
Very good performances by both teams as well. Very good and very scary. As I said, if you're Collingwood and Brisbane, like a few weeks ago when the first finals happened, you'd think if you're Collingwood and Brisbane, we should be on here for a grand final.
Yeah, with that same virtue though, it's like I kind of feel like it's gone like that, doubled in the second week as well, where it's like the teams that have won, that have played last week, not the two preliminary final teams that got in there first. Like those two teams, Carlton and GWS, are being so overhyped and so favoured. I see why. And
it's not like they're just scraping through. They both played good footy. But let's see now.
It's a lot of recency bias though.
Yeah, it is.
Massively.
But let's see now if they can continue that form. But first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Everyone needs to see a Collingwood Carlton grand final.
Oh yeah, obviously.
If it happens, you're gonna wake up. It's gonna be like utopia. The sun's gonna shine brighter. The grass is gonna be greener. Collingwood Carlton grand final is just it'll be the biggest sporting event. Fuck the Matildas. Fuck the Olympics. I don't care if they do bigger numbers. It will be the biggest thing to hit Australia.
It'll be
Collingwood Carlton grand final.
It'll be huge. And imagine being like an Essendon or Richmond fan in that position, burning, because either way you don't want them to win. I think more people will be on Carlton's side, but
it doesn't matter. It'll just be huge. It'll just be very important. And like for the next 5 NRL grand finals, all their viewership combined will not compare to Collingwood Carlton if they both make the grand final in 2023.
It'll be insane. We'll get into all our predictions later on and see if we are predicting a Collingwood Carlton grand final.
We'll see.
But for now, get through a few topics on what's been going on this week. Not much, to be honest. A lot of just news about what has happened in the lead up to the prelim finals.
We'll get to most of that later on anyway. There's not many, touch wood, there's not many injuries so far for the prelim teams, which is good. Taylor Adams went down. Jackson Payne is in a bit of doubt for Brisbane, but we'll get into all of that later. Well, we will talk about now is something unrelated to a finals team. And I want to start this off by saying, as I said before, this year, 2 of the coaches that are leading their teams to the top 4 is Craig McRae, who's in his second year at the helm, and Adam Kingsley. We've seen 2 years in a row a team who clearly has a lot of talents and a lot of forgotten talent, with a new coach against all odds and expectations, make it through to a prelim in their first season. This new coach invigorates the team, brings out old players like from the woodworks that haven't been in form for a few years, and make a prelim. So my big call here is, if Richmond hire Adam Uze, they will make a prelim in 2024.
Because what you're really talking about is the Uze versus McWalter situation that's going on at the moment. They are the 2 coaches left in the Richmond coaching race. I cannot understand why Richmond would hire Andrew McWalter.
That's what I'm saying. I still think Richmond have the list to do what Collingwood did, what GWS have done this year, and go far with a new voice. McWalter's been there for their premierships. He's been there for everything. He's been their caretaker. Caretakers hardly ever work. If Richmond hire Adam Uze, they will make a prelim next year.
Yeah, and I just feel like, I know it's not a proven method, because you can't just have 2 teams do it and then keep running off it. But clearly, it does something when you bring in a new face that hasn't been there previously at the club, like your McRae and Kingsley. And both these lists, like you said, they were out of it. When the new coach came in, it's like, oh, this will be a rebuild year. Just get the coach used to it. Both very, very identical runs where start of the year started off really badly. GWS, in their first 10 games, 3-7. Collingwood, I'm pretty sure it was like 4-6 or something like that in their first 10 games as well. Go on a massive run at the end of the season. Both have made a prelim. Who knows? Giants could even make the grand final. Like, it's a proven method. And I think bringing in the new face of Uze rather than McWalter, who we saw at the end of the season, and a lot of people will say, oh, but that's not enough time, and Richmond are already out of the finals race, so they weren't really like performing up to the level. I just think bringing in Uze could have a similar impact like this. And like you said, they could go very far next year.
That's what I reckon will happen. Early call. But for me, it's more the thing of, if you look at Collingwood last year, they had a bad season, obviously, in 2021, but they still had your Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Howe, all those players that were just being forgotten about, when like they're still obviously all talented players. And even GWS this year still have who we're seeing now are dominating, your Whitfield, Green, Kelly, Canelio. And it's just like, the list is still strong, and Richmond have that. Richmond have Shaw, Lynch, Rewalt next year.
No,
he retired. Dusty, but you still have that core of really talented players that are older but still can make a push. And that's why I think for Richmond fans, if the Collingwood Carlton grand final happens and they've got their heads down, don't be too down, because if you make the right appointment, there could be a bounce back for the Tigs.
Yeah, definitely. I really like that call, and I do think Uze is the man. I just don't see why you would bring in McWalter again for the reasons that I said.
But we'll see.
Just before we get into last week's games, a bit of a preview, I want to just talk about the Brownlow a bit. Obviously, coming up next Monday.
This will be our last episode
This will be our last episode before the Brownlow. We've actually gone through and sort of predicted with our own predictions. And this is going to be completely wrong, obviously, because we're just doing it based off stats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like umpires, apparently the umpires don't see the stats, which I don't believe.
They don't.
You think
they don't see it. They do it straight after the game, I reckon.
Well, if they do it straight after the game, then they don't see stats.
Impact.
It's all about impact. Who would be your top three?
My top three right now. So if I had to put money on my Brownlow top three.
Let's just, give us a box trifecta.
Nick Dacos, Marcus Bontempelli, Christian Petrarca.
Mine is different, okay? From my calculations, what I've worked out is maybe I'm biased either way, against Bont, for Bont, against Dacos, for Dacos. I have Nick Dacos, Zach Butters, and Christian Petrarca. They are my top three. Bont started the season very, very badly. In my predictions, he doesn't get his first 3-vote game until round 6. And he, in the first 5 rounds, he only accumulates 2 votes max.
I feel like Bont always finds a way to poll, but I feel like he is not a stat player. Bont's touch is a lot more valuable than other players.
I understand that, but there's been a lot of games, and what people aren't getting with Bont is they've lost a lot of games, obviously.
They have.
And also, compared to your Petrarca, Butters, and Dacos, so that's all obviously taken into account. And also, the fact that Bont has a lot of players around him in that Bulldogs team where they do take votes off him no matter what.
They do.
You got your Trelaws, your Libbers. Bailey Dale had a couple of good games. There was a game where Jamara kicked 6 goals. That's impact. You get votes for that.
I still think every time that Bont's played, the Dogs played well or competitive, even in a loss, Bont will poll. Because Bont always is that guy for them.
It's a possibility. But when Bont had it ready there for the taking, he didn't perform. In those last 3-4 rounds,
that's why
it was pretty much Bont watch the whole time, seeing if he could accumulate enough votes. And I feel like in those last 3 rounds, what I have here is in those last 3 rounds, Bont gets about, let's say 4 rounds, he only gets about 5 votes.
The thing is, that's why when Nick went down, I had Bont or Track easily overtaking him. Nick couldn't win the Brownlow. But now I think he will be first or second within 1 vote, because it could go either way. It still could be Nick Dacos loses it, but if he wins it, what a story.
Oh, yeah.
6 games out at the end of the season.
6, 4.
Was it 4? He missed 4, but he didn't poll for 6.
He didn't poll for 6.
And I don't know, it would be even more amazing to the Nick Dacos story, but we'll see. Hopefully Nick Dacos, for Pies fan, has a big game this week.
Yeah, I've got the 2 players I've got coming home with an absolute storm are Butters and Petrarca. So that is my box trifecta. I'm not sure how much that's paying at the moment, but I'd say it'd be pretty good because a lot of the main ones
have mine's the favourite,
Marcus Bontempelli in it. Yeah. Yours a bit. No, actually, no, it wouldn't be.
Lockie Neal?
You had... In mine, I had Lockie McNeil coming 4th, actually.
Yep.
Bont coming 5th. But... yours wouldn't be the favourite either because you didn't have Butters in yours.
No, I didn't. But you reckon Butters is top? The top one, the best odds are for Bontempelli, Dacos, Butters. So we're both wrong. I've got, mine is at 350. Petrarca, Bontempelli, Dacos.
I can't even find mine. Oh, yeah, so it's 650.
Yours at 650.
Petrarca, Dacos, Zach Butters. That's the 3rd favourite.
Yeah.
I really like that. Because the
650's all right.
The top 2 have Bont in them.
Yeah.
I really like that. Petrarca, Nick Dacos, Zach Butters at 650.
Yeah, fair enough. I still have a feeling Bont will think, but we'll see Monday.
I guess we will see on Monday. Do you want to get through the previous week? Just talk a bit about the games that have passed.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. 2 teams going down straight sets.
Yeah,
start us off.
Fucking huge there. First game was obviously the Melbourne versus Carlton game. My apologies, Carlton fans. Really thought this was going to be a smashing. I really thought this was the game to end the Carlton streak. Obviously, it wasn't. They proved me wrong once again, and they may be the real deal.
They deserve their credit, man, especially from us. Well done, Blues fans. Great win. Great comeback in the season. Can't say anything now. They've done everything. Like, what else could you say to them?
Like I said in that last video, we actually posted a clip on TikTok about how this game was a must-win for the Blues or else their season was a failure. At the end of the video, I said if they do end up beating Melbourne and go to Brisbane and lose to Brisbane, whatever, it's still it is still a success.
It is now,
It's a successful season right now. If they lose to Brisbane, what do? A majority of teams would lose to Brisbane this week up at the Gabba, but
no one's beaten them there.
They've done really well. You cannot fault them at all for this season now.
How about the D's? The D's have to be the most infuriating team in the last 2 years. To make matters worse, they didn't even win the flag in Melbourne, and now they haven't won a final at the G since 2018.
It's actually really fucking embarrassing. Like, I can't believe it. As much as you can talk about their inaccuracy, like, that is the main reason they lost these games. But like we said last week, these stats don't mean shit.
Yeah, there's no should win a game.
Yeah, exactly.
They lost the game. They were out in straight sets.
Everyone pulling up expected score, blah, blah, blah. You need the players to kick the goals to make the score for you to win. Like, there's no...
It's no excuse.
I don't see any, like, what's the word?
Cop-out. There's no cop-out. Like, I don't get the thing of they should have won. They didn't win. Carlton won. Carlton's through to a prelim.
Yeah, if I was a Demons fan, I wouldn't be consoling myself with the thing of, but we should have won both games.
And you know what? There's no guarantee now next year that they're going to be better because they were close in these games.
No, not at all.
But anyway.
Like you said, Melbourne's inefficiency lost them the game once again. Gorn hitting the post. Fritsch missing from his favourite spot that BT was fucking talking about. I don't even know what that meant. It was his favourite spot. But yeah, Cozzy's stupid free kicks and reversals at the start of the game.
Cozzy single-handedly sold the game.
Oh yeah, massively. He sold massively.
Everything he did. Look, to be honest, he did redeem himself in the second half, but it wasn't enough to redeem the goal he missed, the free kick he turned over, and then
350-metre penalties.
350-metre penalties. It just doesn't make up for it, even though he did play well and scored some goals in the second half.
Yeah, right at the end there, you thought he was going to be the one to take it away. Like,
yeah, I did.
There was a goal he almost kicked, started bouncing in and just hit the post. Like, that could have been the goal.
That would have ended the game.
That would have brought the stands down because Carlton fans were obviously absolutely hating Cozzy for the hit on Cripps.
But the game would have been over instantly.
Oh, yeah,
There's no way Carlton win that game from that.
I usually hate on Sam Walsh a lot, but massive props to Sam Walsh. This is one of the first games I watched Sam Walsh and thought he is like a very, very damaging player.
He's extremely damaging. He was insane.
Throughout the home and away season, though, I feel like sometimes Walsh can get stuck in the thing of spamming the ball and as soon as he gets it, running backwards, kicking backwards, shit like that. This game cannot fault him at all.
Dominant. He was
dominant as...
It's crazy.
Obviously, the last goal, Blake Acres' goal.
Blake Acres, man. Like, at the start of the year... And then if we throw back to last off-season, Acres gets traded to Carlton for a second-round pick. Everyone's going ballistic. What a steal, what a steal, what a steal. Then halfway through the year, Acres was on the chopping block. Everyone hated him. And he's redeemed himself here. And he's proving to be a very, very, very important acquisition of the off-season.
Do you really think that, though? Because in my opinion...
He's won them 2 finals.
But has he...
He's won them 2 finals. Acres has won Carlton 2 finals.
He's had moments that have won him the finals, but him personally, he has not.
But he's been very good.
I don't know if anyone's going to remember this, but in that game, as the thing, Acres had not had a great game by any standards, okay? Until
he's still doing good stuff.
Can I tell you something? In that game, no one's going to remember it because he kicked that final goal and everyone's in the streets chanting, who won us the game? Blake Acres, Blake Acres. He kicked the ball out on the full, going inside 50. No one will remember that.
I don't remember.
No one will remember that.
I've got no recollection.
If they ended up losing that game, he would have been slaughtered for it. Slaughtered. Because it was in the last quarter, he kicked it out on the full going inside 50, would have been slaughtered.
He's a hero for
right place, right time on many occasions. You can't fault him. You're in the right place, right time. But I think we need to pipe down on this Blake Acres hype. Like,
everyone's saying he's recruit of the year. But what's interesting here is every one of these finals teams have a player they brought in last off season, and I want you to rank them. Rank for me, Acres, Collingwood's Bobby Hill, GWS Toby Bedford, and Brisbane's Josh Dunkley. All 4 new players who will have the biggest impact for the new team in the prelim.
Well, I can just say, like, as it stands, my list would have to be Dunkley, Bobby Hill, Toby Bedford, Blake Acres.
Acres last.
I'm sorry, but it has to
way.
be. It has to be.
He's not last.
How would you list yours?
Me, I'd probably have Dunkley, Acres, Bobby Hill, Toby Bedford.
As if.
Bro, Acres...
Okay, let me explain.
Acres on that wing... Wait, let me say my part. Acres on that wing, his defensive running for Carlton has been massive. That was what they were lacking last year. If you remember, Lockie O'Brien was playing there last year, and it was hopeless. Acres being on that wing for them is huge, and he has been a missing cog for them. And without him, I don't think they've made it to a prelim. And in a prelim, he's very important. More important than Bedford and Hill for me, the 2 small forwards.
All right, win a game factor. Dunkley obviously can win you a game. Beast in the midfield. This is the missing piece they needed to contend properly for finals.
Obviously.
Bobby Hill in second. Win a game player. Can win you a game. Did win the game.
Can you win your game? Acres has won 2 games in a row.
Did win you the game. Collingwood the game in the first game against Melbourne. Can score multiple goals. Can have a huge effect. Toby Bedford, they wouldn't be playing. I could even put Bedford at 2. They would not be playing the way they are playing with this fast run. He is a massive clock. You saw, I don't know what it was, round 20 or round 22 or some shit like that. When GWS first Port Adelaide and Brent Daniels and Toby Bedford were not playing, they got destroyed by about 80 points. They are playing in this game against Port at Adelaide Oval once again, identical game, and they smash them. Blake Acres does not have winner game factor for me. I know he's had moments. He's had his moments where he's touched the ball and he kicked the goal. Almost missed the goal, by the way. So if he missed that, Carlton fans would have had his head off as well. But I'm sorry, it's just like impact players.
Impact players, but I still think the biggest impact on their new club has to be Dunkley. Obviously, we agree with that. But Acres has to be number 2. Acres for Carlton. It was a great pickup, and you cannot put him above... You cannot put him below Bobby Hill and Toby Bedford when you're ranking these 4 prelim teams and their new recruits for this year.
For me, you started off by saying who will have the biggest impact in this preliminary final. I can see all 3 of those top players having massive impact.
I just think
I can't see Acres winning them a game.
He's won them 2 games.
No, he's
won them 2 games.
He's had moments that have led to them winning the games. He hasn't won the game off his own boot for him.
I think he has. He has. Anyway, we can agree to disagree there. Regardless, all 4 great pickups and proves how important the offseason becomes for every team to make a prelim next year.
I want to bring up one more thing in that game. Is Clayton Oliver developing a reputation where he goes missing in big games? Now,
is he? I don't know.
In that last game, he had 27 disposals, fair enough, but 0 impact for me.
It was all right.
0 impact for me.
He was having a bad day. He was having a bad night. Carlton's midfield was on top in general. Like, they were destroying them in clearances. So.
All right, now let me take you back to last year in another elimination final against Brisbane. Got absolutely tagged out of the game by McCluggage.
It was Berry.
And Jared Berry,
and yes,
sorry.
he got tagged. But it's different when you're getting a tag.
I don't know. I feel like he just doesn't have... I feel like he's not as good as everyone makes him out to be.
I think Petrarca is their best player, clearly. And I feel like
clearly.
I feel like every year, everyone... rides the Oliver train, but I don't know.
For me, it's not even a debate anymore.
Same.
Like,
I'm with you.
Petrarca's that far in front. It's not even funny.
I'm with you. My free tip for that game
sorry.
was wrong.
Same
I had the D's minus 6.5. You had the same.
Yeah, exact same.
And my margin was the D's by 28. Sorry, Blues fans, you got me.
And my margin was Melbourne by 32. But my big call, if everyone remembers,
we shared it.
Was Charlie Curnow to have 0 goals. Kicked 1, but like... didn't look near it all night.
And he was lucky to kick that one.
Yeah, lucky to kick that one. I also added on that Tom De Koning will kick 3+ goals at $18.
The first
kicked
2 goals.
In the first quarter.
Carlton's first 2. That was crazy.
Crazy there. Boys, we're going to take a little break from our sponsor, punterspalace.com, and then get right back into the episode.
What's up, Punters Pod listeners? This podcast is sponsored by punterspalace.com, a site where you can sell and buy sports tips online for free. All you got to do is register for an account, go to the Connect Your Account tab, connect your bank account, you get your pay straight through there, you get paid out daily from your subscribers, you get to set whatever monthly fee you want to set. It's the best sports punting site on the web. Boys, you got to get on it. We make heaps of money through this, and you can too. easiest side hustle ever. Just sell your sports tips online for free or subscribe to us at Jezza Picks and Ethan Tips. Go search us up. Go get on it. Thanks, and let's get back into the show.
Okay. We back. And before we get into the preliminary final games, we'll jump back into last week's second semi-final, Port versus GWS, where the Giants looked fucking scary and destroyed Port.
Yeah, I got this one wrong in the sense that I thought this would be a close game the whole time. My margin was actually GWS by 3, so
You got it right. I
got the tip right, but
I had Port
not
by
the margin
16.
at all.
I
Yeah,
had Port by 16.
I just felt like my feelings were right. Last week I said that Port Adelaide's defense was way too undermanned for GWS, even though GWS only had Jesse Hogan and Riccardi as their main 2 targets.
Yep.
Obviously Toby Green, but that's an anomaly. He's always going to pop up. Between Jesse Hogan and Jake Riccardi, absolute domination. Could have had 11 goals between them.
Yeah.
Like, they had 11 scoring shots between them. Could have had 11 goals between them. Like, it was just exactly how I predicted it. That Port Adelaide's defense would absolutely crumble. And yeah.
They looked so dead in the water. Like, the margin flattered them. GWS could have put them away by way more. And it is what everyone was saying last week, that they have no backline. But I still thought Port at home would find a way to get it done. But the Giants, man, they move the ball so well. It's scary. And I know there's a lot of hype around them at the moment, and it might just be hype, but I haven't seen a team on a ride like this since Dogs in 2016. Honestly.
Yeah. It has a lot of shades of Dog 2016
God,
about
it. Is scary.
The 7th place team. Were Dogs 7th or 6th?
7th.
7th place team coming in, getting on a dream run. All their players are in the best form of their lives right in this little period of time. Very, very scary at the moment. Just on the midfield battle, GWS made Port's midfield look like the young players that they are.
Yeah, second rate.
Like, just was boys to men in that sense, where they absolutely dominated the whole night.
It's, I don't know what to say about the Giants, but the first week of finals, I thought St Kilda would get the win, and they just destroyed him. I thought maybe that was a one-off, and Port's a better team. Saints aren't that strong, but they destroyed him, and I see a world where GWS, might find a way to challenge Collingwood very, very hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Scary.
Just on the midfield thing, at halftime, between Rosie Butters and Jason Horne-Francis, none of them had over 10 disposals. Like, that's the level of domination that they were having.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, speaks absolute volumes there. Port Adelaide, do they have egg on their face after signing Ken Hinkley?
I don't think you can say that. They always... I think they did it well, because they always said from the start of the year, we're going to wait till, was it August?
Yeah, August.
They waited till August. They won a 13-game win streak. You can't, if you said you're going to wait till August and you're on a 13-game win streak, there's no reason to say then, actually, we'll wait till finals. You make yourself look stupid then. You made your call, you backed him in. And as we've seen in years gone by, with teams going down in straight sets, you can bounce back at the next year. I don't think Port are gone forever. They're going to get... Radigalia, Brandon Zerk-Thatcher.
Yeah, but is that a big thing?
It's better than what they have. It's better than Trent McKenzie and
I don't think
no one
so.
else.
I see it as getting Trent McKenzie and having Tom Jonas. Like
Nah.
these aren't major players that they're acquiring.
But do they have to be? Like,
yes.
Zerk-Thatcher and Radigalia make them a lot better. If Zerk-Thatcher and Radigalia played on the weekend, they would have been a better side than with McKenzie and no one else.
And Aaliyah.
Aaliyah's still going to be there.
Yeah.
You're adding
I don't
so
know.
much more.
I think they did it at a terrible time because they were just coming off that big losing streak that they had right at the end of the year. They won one bullshit game and then they're like, fuck it, let's re-sign him. Port Adelaide fans wanted to sack him for the reason of that they fade out at the end of the year and have a bad run in finals. He's done it consistently over his career. It's happened once again and they've got him for another 2 years. I can see this, honestly. Ken's head will be on the chopping block once again next year.
I can't, but it depends on how they go during the season because no one would have. You can physically not sack a coach after a 13-game win streak. There's no way you can because of their finals record. What would you have done then? You would have sacked him.
I would have waited till the end of the year.
But why when you said August?
Yeah, I understand that they shouldn't have put the time frame of August on it. But if you had waited to the end of the year, you can. This is all hypothetical, but maybe they would have won the flag if they waited to the end of the year. Pressure would have been on Ken the whole entire time. You never know.
I doubt Ken wanted to win the flag less because
No, obviously,
he wasn't
but
signed.
it's more job security.
It is more job security. I know what you're saying, but I don't think Ken getting his contract had anything to do with them going out straight sets.
No, I'm not saying he just gave up.
They
but
caught GWS on a hot as fuck patch, and the first final they caught the Lions where no one was beating the Lions there this year. Maybe Carlton this week, but so I feel like sometimes it is a bit of luck. Look, sometimes you get matched up with Lions over there, difficult as fuck. No one's beaten them yet. And then you have GWS, who's in, as we've both just admitted, the craziest patch of form ever. So maybe it is a bit unlucky.
One last thing on this match. How little has Kane Corns talked about Port Adelaide?
Nothing, man.
Nothing at all. I get on SEN on Monday morning to listen to Kane and Bucks, and I'm expecting him to go in on them and roast them, blah, blah, blah. He does not stop talking about Melbourne the whole game. Does not stop at all. Not the whole game. The whole show. Doesn't stop talking about Melbourne. And didn't touch on Port Adelaide at all.
Quiet as a mouse, man.
Quiet as. And then he just comes in with little sentences here and there about how they've had a suspect back line all year, blah, blah, blah. Why wasn't this talked about when they were on a 13-game winning streak?
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
Didn't talk about it at all. Went radio silent this week. Didn't even rock up to the Sunday footy show. I don't know why.
He hasn't for a couple of weeks. I don't know. He hasn't? No, Isaac Smith's been on for a couple of weeks.
All right, fair enough then. But yeah, radio silence by Kane Corn, obviously.
Nah, it was weak by him. Like, surely you just come out, because you know people are waiting for it. Just swallow your pride a bit and just fucking rip into him, say it was not good enough, and move on. Then everyone else will leave you alone.
Free tip for that. Mine did not win. I had the over.
I had Rosie 30 plus.
Jesus Christ.
I thought he was going to have a big game in front of the Adelaide crowd, but fuck me, man.
Yeah, margin, I had GWS by 3. They got the win, but didn't win by 3, obviously.
Port by 16, which is clearly wrong.
And my big call was very wrong. I had the game ends in a draw and goes to extra time. Didn't even get close.
Did you put money on it?
No. Oh, yeah, I did actually.
You did? And I had Marshall to kick 4, and he kicked 2. And maybe he would have kicked 4, that Port would have won, but he obviously did not.
All right, boys, let's get into the preliminary finals.
What everyone's been waiting for, the prelims, baby.
First game of the prelims, Collingwood versus GWS, Friday night at the MCG. What are your feelings on this?
Flashbacks to 2019, as everyone is saying, but there's really zero correlation to the two games.
Zero.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, yeah, it was 5 years ago, and it's the same teams, but new coaches, mainly new playing lists.
Yeah, a lot of new faces on each
everything's
list.
different. Everything's different. I still think it will be a cracking game, as that final was. I think that the Giants match Collingwood's game style, and with a dry forecast, it should lend itself to being a very good, free-flowing, fast game. GWS are on a dream run, as I said, similar to the Dogs in 2016. I don't know, man. It's scary. What do you think?
This may be the most exciting game of the year.
100%.
Both teams zipping fast ball movement. It's going to be fast paced. It's going to be fun to watch. GWS at the peak of their powers, and Collingwood obviously trying to make it to the big dance. Both teams are, but Collingwood with the expectations all year long. I think the rest plays a huge part in this match. And obviously Collingwood have had the extra week off.
15 days.
They've got an advantage there. Also, the fact that GWS are getting back, they have a much shorter break. 6-day break only between their last game.
Yep. Well, the thing is as well, everyone's talking about this GWS anytime, anywhere, free smoke, and they've proven that time and time and time again this year. But you know what? It's anytime, anywhere until it's 90,000 Collingwood fans at the MCG instead of 35,000 Port Adelaide fans at Adelaide Oval. It's a big difference. It's a big stage. I do think the Giants have a strong chance to cause an upset because they're playing incredible footy. But I will back the favourites, and I think we will see the best team all year, Collingwood, advance to the grand final. What are your thoughts?
Just a little game prediction. I think it's similar to the Melbourne game. I think Collingwood get a quick start to the game.
That's huge for the Pies.
Get a jump on the team and then try to defend most of the game like they did 2 weeks ago against Melbourne. For me, GWS are being way too overrated on recency bias.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
In my mind, GWS, first round of finals, have versed St Kilda. Not a great team, in my opinion. Probably the weakest team in the 8 for
They
me.
were, yep.
Then they go to Adelaide Oval versus Port Adelaide. I've been very suspect on Port Adelaide for many weeks before finals even started. Undermanned, just thing. Didn't look anywhere near it against Brisbane. Neither did they against GWS. I feel like everyone tipping GWS and saying that... Yeah, go.
In saying that, you got to remember that they've played weaker teams. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But it's the thing of... They have been playing such good footy regardless of who they're versing. Like, their ball movement has been the best. They've been playing the best brand of footy this finals. Better than Collingwood, better than Carlton, Brisbane, better than anyone, in my opinion. Do you agree with that or not really?
Yeah, they have.
Even though the teams have been weaker, I still think they've been better.
They look electric, but I'm just saying, the fact that every person... Like, I barely heard anyone tip Collingwood in this game. A lot of people tipping GWS and... doing their bullshit little midway thing where they go, oh, GWS are looking the best, they're looking this,
their numbers
this.
are better.
Oh, but Collingwood's a better team, so tipping Collingwood. But like, you can tell they're...
Because it's a factor of as well, a lot of people want GWS to win this game. If my team was out of the finals at this stage, I 1,000,000% would be riding GWS.
It's the people's team,
It's the people's team, and that's why I feel like they've got that support behind them, but I don't think it'll be enough for Friday night. And it should be good weather. Oh, it's going to be a good game. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, very excited.
My free tip is the over 167.5 at $1.90. As I said, I think this game will be fast, free-flowing, two teams who move the ball fast and can allow a lot on the turnover, and they'll be willing to die in a shootout, both these teams.
I think a very important thing for Collingwood is having Collingwood's half forward, is being really, really close to GWS's halfbacks.
Yep.
I feel like Whitfield and Lockie Ash are two of the most dangerous players on the field.
Lockie Ash has been good, man.
They've been killing it, and they've been playing that real slingshot ball movement where they get it off the halfback and just go. I feel like Collingwood's half forwards need to stay real pressed up on him. Bo McCreary needs to do a job on either one. Just be with them constantly. Keep the ball out of their hands as much as possible. My free tip for this game is going to be Collingwood 1-39 at $2.20.
I don't think it'll go out of the 1-39. No chance either way. So I do like that. My margin for this game is the Pies by 25 points.
My margin is Collingwood by 18 points.
And my big call is Nick Dacos comes back without missing a beat, has 2 goals, 30 plus disposals, takes the Pies into the grand final, wins the Brownlow on Monday, and sits back for a granny on next Saturday.
And my big call is that Mason Cox turns back into preliminary final Mason Cox.
Big Mason.
He loves the big stage, Big
USA.
Mason, Big USA. Mason Cox kicks 2+ goals at $6. I'm not even just saying this for the fact of the prelim factor. I'm just saying this as well, that I think that they got Sam Taylor and Connor Iden in the back line. Harry Himmelberg floats in.
Buckley.
And now, Buckley as well. I just think Cox can get onto a couple here.
I think
once he's playing that resting position in the forward line, I just think Cox gets onto a couple.
If you remember, his best game this year was against the Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
It was against the Giants, so we'll say Big Mason. Imagine that. The king of the prelims, Mason Cox.
Next game is Giants.
Lions versus
the
Carlton.
Lions versus Carlton. I keep doubting them.
They couldn't, could they?
I keep doubting them.
Could they?
And I'm sticking to that sentiment. I'm doubting Carlton once again. They've had a great run, but I cannot see Carlton getting over Brisbane at the Gabba.
I don't know, man. It's another situation where one team is riding a massive wave and the other team is the heavy favourites to advance. The Gabba unbeaten record will be very hard to overcome. And as we've seen all year, Brisbane look like an unstoppable team at the Gabba. But the Blues, man, they're playing with something. They're playing with some heart.
I'm sorry, but for me, Brisbane are the best team in the comp, no matter where they are. No matter where they are.
Really?
At the moment, they are playing the best footy out of anyone.
I think GWS are.
I think Brisbane. That's just recency bias. We haven't seen Brisbane play against Port Adelaide. Absolutely dominated.
Yep.
I think they're the best team in the comp, and adding the Gabba into the equation just makes it even harder for Carlton. For me, this game is going to be close until the last quarter. I feel.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be a tight game up until the last quarter, and Brisbane just score 6 goals in the last and run away.
That's what I'm saying. I do think Brisbane will win this game, but I do think Carlton go out with pride. Obviously, it's a fucking massive feat for them to even be here, but I can't see them getting really dominated too badly in this game. It might blow out late, but I do think that they go through this game with a lot of pride, and even if they get smashed in the last quarter, they are very strong and make the fans proud.
Yeah, sorry, I was just having a fucking
Yeah, fuck me,
coughing
man.
attack.
Thought you were dying.
Fuck. Fuck, my bad. The way I see Carlton winning this, there is a way I see Carlton winning this, and it is what they overcame last week. It's if Brisbane have a terrible goal kicking night, I can see Carlton winning this.
And Brisbane's a team who's very susceptible to
Very
that.
susceptible to having a very bad goal kicking night. If they do, Carlton can seize this opportunity, come over the top and win this game, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what helps Carlton a lot as well.
Yeah, Tom.
Payne being out just helps so much. He killed Charlie last time.
Well, it's not a confirmed out yet, is it?
I said if he's out. But even his injury cloud, like even if he's not 100%, it still hurts them heaps in my opinion. And Mackay will play, whether we think he should or not. I still think they're better off without him.
Yeah,
and I still think
same as me.
they're more... for everyone saying that they're too predictable without Mackay, I think they're more unpredictable because when Mackay's got the ball kicking in the 50, it's only going to Charlie. But if you have Martin or even Silvani there instead of him, you got those... You're more dynamic, in my opinion. Anyway, Mackay will play, so let's put that to bed. Your conspiracy theory was wrong. He will play this week. He isn't dodging finals.
Well, he dodged last week's one.
Yeah, he did.
I'm telling you, they lose if Mackay plays.
But I do think he will miss a set shot early and it'll be fucking embarrassing. But yeah, I think that's a way they could win if Mackay finds a way to be dominant like he was fucking 10 years ago, it feels like. And Charlie has an underdone Jack Payne on him. That's a way Carlton could expose Brisbane.
I feel like Jack Martin is a huge factor in this game as well.
Huge.
They got blessed with him coming off for that 1 week.
Yep.
I think Jack Martin has been great for the whole
Amazing.
end of the season. As soon as he came back in, he's just been great the whole time. I think he's massive in this game. My free tip for this game is going to be Brisbane 1-39 at $2.10.
My free tip is also Brisbane 1-39 at $2.10. Can't see Carlton getting smashed.
Margin is Brisbane by 28 points.
Oh, I've got Brisbane by 20 points.
And my big call is that Harry Mackay goes 1-3 for the game. Carlton fans are furious because at the end of the game, this could have kept them in the game, / won it potentially. And my point last week is vindicated that the goal-kicking demons in his head have gotten that bad that he just...
Go on.
What are you doing?
Just go on. Just keep speaking. man.
Then my point gets vindicated that the goal-kicking demons in his head are too big for him to be playing in big finals.
This is set up my big call. My big call is Country Road gets played 5 times. Charlie Cameron kicks 5 goals. Brings the Gabba down. Country Road starts blasting. And they win the game with a bang. Charlie Cameron kicks 5. They're into the grand final.
All right. And
Take me home.
okay, and after that fucking abortion,
I love that song, man.
yeah,
It's so
pretty
good.
J's up the crowd. We're going to take a little break from our sponsor, punterspalace.com, and then get into the emoji game.
What's up, Punters Pod listeners? This podcast is sponsored by punterspalace.com, a site where you can sell and buy sports tips online for free. All you got to do is register for an account, go to the Connect Your Account tab, connect your bank account, you get your pay straight through there, you get paid out daily from your subscribers, you get to set whatever monthly fee you want to set. It's the best sports punting site on the web. Boys, you got to get on it. We make heaps of money through this. And you can too. Easiest side hustle ever. Just sell your sports tips online for free or subscribe to us at Jezza Picks and Ethan Tips. Go search us up. Go get on it. Thanks, and let's get back into the show.
All right, boys, we're back, and we're just going to finish off today's episode with a bit of the emoji game.
Hey now.
Ethan's turn to guess.
Let's go.
So, you got some good emojis coming because Ethan didn't make them.
Let's go.
Quite hard, these ones, in my opinion, but
They're always hard. They're always hard.
let's start. Your first emoji is here. Make sure you describe them. 3, 2, 1.
I've got an addition sign, a bicep flexed muscle, and a crying face. Ad. I'm guessing it's ad. Adam.
Yeah.
Sad.
Adam Sard. See,
Adam
easy
Sard.
one. Easy
That
one
was
to start
good.
you
That
off.
was good.
Now,
That is a good one.
this one may be very hard.
Let's go.
I think this one might be the hardest. I'll give you
Really?
a softer one at the end.
Jeez. Let's go.
Maybe you'll be able to get it because but okay, here we go. 3,
Let's
2,
go.
1.
I'm scared. We got a... Ooh, I don't even know what that is. It's like a bucket?
You got to think what could be in the bucket. It's
Okay.
a barrel. It's a barrel.
Okay.
Next.
A barrel, a leaf, and a wine glass.
Yeah.
Something wine. Ollie wines?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oil,
oil. Okay. The wine just
oil
gave it
leaf
away.
wines. But
What's a leaf?
oil leaf wines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right.
I was trying to think.
But the wine just gave it away
Yeah,
too
wine
easily.
gives it away too easily. I knew I
Bro,
shouldn't have
that's
done
like the Danes one last week.
No, that
the-
wasn't like the Danes one.
The Swan should have given it away, but anyway.
I'm not
Let's
going
go.
back to that.
Let's go.
And then the last one is going to be in 3, 2, 1.
We got a calendar. We got a father and son. We got some wood. So I'm guessing it's a month.
Yep.
Mason Wood. Oh, clean sweep again.
I thought they were going to be hard.
I'm going to be too good at this, I reckon.
I need to stop putting fucking...
Or maybe we're running out of emojis.
Yeah, I think we're this might be the last emoji game, boys, because we're running out, and it's getting harder to find players.
Let us know if you want the emoji to keep alive. It's on its last legs, bro. I'll tell ya.
It's definitely on its
It's on
last
its last
legs.
legs.
That'll probably do us for today's episode.
Enjoy the Brownlow. Enjoy the prelims. And next week we'll be talking about the grand fucking final, man.
Like always, boys, punterspalace.com. Get on it. Subscribe to Jezza Picks, Ethan Tips. Get on with us. Like I always say, after the footy, we're going to have NFL, NBA, all that good shit.
Perfect.
Have a great preliminary final weekend. Have a great Brownlow night. See you later, boys.
You.